Hi, this is David with David's Tutorials. Today I'd like to talk to you about something a little bit off-center from what I usually do, and this is a little bit of a vent and a little bit of an education and a little bit of a suggestion, and it's about the 5% rule of marketing. Now, the 5% rule of marketing states that it only costs 5% as much to keep an existing customer as it costs to acquire a new one. Now, marketing analysts and all of the people who specialize in customer relationship management, that's a big thing in business. They will tell you that this is the relative cost of customer retention versus customer acquisition. I learned this in 2002 when I was attending a master's class at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, and in that marketing class the teacher told us that it only costs 5% as much to retain an existing customer as it costs to acquire a new one. I had to do a lot of thinking about that, and it makes a lot of sense. And my vent on this is, why don't more companies recognize this? Now, for many years, my wife worked for the Nissan Corporation. She's retired from there now. And I got a lot of insight into the inner workings of a large car company, one of the largest in the world. And so, just using car companies as an example, I'd like to explore what this would mean to them. Now, this can be applied to pretty much any large company that deals with customers. I looked at 6 of the largest car companies in the world, and I looked up what are their marketing budgets. Now, the latest estimates I could get for marketing budgets were from 3 years ago in 2020, and here's what I found. Let me read it off to you. The Chrysler Corporation was the bottom of these 6, and they spent only $1.3 billion on marketing in 2020, and it's probably gone up since then. And let's see, who else do we have here? The Ford Motor Company was next at $2.3 billion on marketing. Next up was the Mercedes Company at $2.5 billion in marketing. Then we had General Motors with $3.1 billion in marketing. Next, we had Nissan at $3.5 billion in marketing, and on the top of that list was the Toyota Company with $4.4 billion in marketing. Now, very quickly, do you know how much $1 billion is? Do you know how much $1 million is? Let me do a very quick analogy for you here, that if you made $50,000 a year, pure profit, let's say that was your total income, and you lived at home with your mom and dad, they fed you and they clothed you and they housed you and they paid all your expenses, so every penny you made out of that $50,000 could go in the bank. Or if you made $100,000 and spent $50,000 on all your living expenses, and you put $50,000 in the bank every single year, it would take you 20 years to amass in your savings account $1 million. So this is basically 20 years of full-time work and full-time savings for a single person. It's $1 million. Now, $1 billion is 1,000 million dollars. Now, what is 20 years of work times 1,000? That's how much $1 billion is. I've got more analogies for that. I may share them with you in a future video, but that just kind of gives you an idea of how much $1 billion is. And the lowest car company on this list spent $1.3 billion in marketing in 2020, and the Toyota Company spent $4.4 billion in marketing in 2020. Now, these are approximate figures, and I don't guarantee they're accurate, but they're probably pretty close. Now, if they're spending $1 billion on marketing, let me ask you, how many people out there driving, what companies are they again? Chrysler products, Ford products, Mercedes products, General Motors products, Nissans or Toyotas. How many of those bought a new one and then had the company come back to you and try to keep your business? My experience is that pretty much 100% of the companies, I'm not talking about the dealerships, I'm talking about the companies, these are the ones that spend the money on marketing, pretty much ignored you. You buy their car, then they totally forget about you. So this is one of my vents. What would happen if you had bought a new car from a company, the XYZ company, for example, and they're spending $3 billion a year on marketing? If they had taken 10% of that, which let's say 10% of that would be $30 million on a program to retain you and all of their other customers as customers in the future. They could do such things as get in touch with you, a person to person. How do you like this car? Is there anything we could do better in the future? Wouldn't that make you feel valued as a customer? What if they implemented a program saying something like, every year we're going to find one customer who has had one of our new vehicles for at least 2 years, up to 5, 8 years, one for each model vehicle, and we will give you a brand new vehicle of the same make and probably upgraded a model. In exchange, you give us your car, and we're going to take your car back to our engineering labs and look at what's been going on with your car and see how can we improve that car in the future. If they did that sort of thing and let you know about it as one of their customers, wouldn't you be more prone to buy a new car from that company in the future? My point here is, why don't big companies recognize that it only costs 5% as much to keep an existing customer as it costs to acquire a new customer? So instead of spending all this money on Super Bowl ads, on magazine ads, on internet ads, on all of these things that they're trying to convince you, ooh, this is a wonderful car, you need to come out and buy it, or this is a wonderful whatever it is they're trying to sell you, that they keep their existing customers. Now, here's one of the things where I was able to apply this, and it has nothing to do with selling. For many years, I was the conductor of a local community band, and when we very first got started, we set a goal that we wanted to have more people in the audience than we had up on the stage. And if you've ever been to a community band concert, you know sometimes this is a problem. We never had that problem while I was the conductor of the band until the pandemic hit. And what we did was we recognized you only had two kinds of attendees at a concert. We had first-time attendees and we had repeat attendees. Now, for the repeat attendees, you had to play the kind of music that people are going to want to come back and hear more of. And for the first-time attendees, you had to show them that we are really glad you're here, would love to see you come back, we care about you. Now, this is just the sort of thing that will help build up an audience. We built up our audience to the point that we overflowed an 800-seat auditorium and had to move to a bigger place. Car companies, other big companies, can do the same thing if they will only pay attention to the fact that they need to retain their existing customers. Now, how do they do that? Here's a little bit of academia for you. You ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? This is basically all of the human needs in an order of hierarchy. They usually put them in a pyramid. There are 5 of them, and let me look at the view here just to make sure I don't leave any of them out. There's the physiological needs, there's the safety needs, there's the belonging needs, there's the esteem needs, and there's self-actualization. There's all 5 of them. Well, the bottom 2, the physiological needs, food, shelter, and clothing, that's what everybody looks to before they can look at anything else. And then there's the safety needs, there's the physical safety, there's the financial safety, there's the health safety, all these sorts of things people are looking at for themselves and their families, and they want to take care of these first before they look to anything else. And companies, you generally don't have people who are struggling for this as your customers. People who are struggling for this they don't have money to spare for the things that companies are usually trying to sell. But fortunately, in most civilized nations, people have come beyond that, and they're now looking for the belonging and the esteem needs. Now, let me talk about how companies, if you're going to keep your customers, you want to give them a sense of belonging. Once somebody buys your product, why don't you make them feel unquestionably, you're a member of our family now, we value you, we want to take care of you. And they can do this by communication, by listening. People want to feel like somebody listens to them, and then that somebody cares. They want to feel that the company cares about them as a customer. If you buy a product from a company and 3 months later you have a product and you contact the company and you get this boilerplate canned response that makes you feel like they didn't even read your question, you feel like they don't care. And you're pretty likely not to want to do business with them again. Now, the self-esteem, basically, let me see, I don't want to make a mistake here. They want their self-esteem, they want to feel respected, they want to feel like they are being recognized. People want to feel like the company listens to them. Not that they just care about them, but they respect what they have to say. Now, one company that I've been dealing with that I feel does a wonderful job of this is Audible.com. It's a branch of Amazon that publishes audio books. I've been a member of Audible.com for more than 3 years now, and I am a dedicated customer. And the reason for this is because of their customer support department. I have probably over the 3 years' time sent them maybe 20 customer support requests. Every single one has received individualized attention that indicates to me they actually read what I said and didn't just want to brush me off with some sort of boilerplate response. I have made suggestions and they have responded by saying, this is a wonderful suggestion. We're going to pass this on to our development team, and in recognition for this suggestion, we are giving you 1 extra credit. I mean, an extra credit is worth about $8, and that's not a lot to Amazon, to Audible, but it meant a lot to me. It made me feel recognized. It made me feel respected. It made me feel listened to. Now, all the companies out there, why don't they pay attention to their customers? Spend 10% of your marketing budget on listening to your customers, making them feel valued, making them feel listened to. If you do that, you're going to have a loyal customer for life more often than not. Now, that's all I've got to say on this topic, and I hope you were interested in this as I am interested in this. If you were, give me that thumbs up. It'll let me know that you like my videos. It'll let the YouTube robots know that they need to recommend these videos to other people who are looking for this sort of thing. Leave me a comment down in the comment section to let me know more about how you received this video, what you might be going to do with it. Maybe share it with some big companies you know. And as always, if you're already a subscriber, I thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. And if you're not a subscriber, why not go ahead right now and click on that subscribe button and then the bell icon so YouTube will let you know by email whenever we post another great video right here on David's Tutorials and Vlog channel. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.